Roger, welcome to Rock Over London.
Thank you.
First of all, if we could talk about the tour that you're about to be doing, is it going to be the same show that you did over in Britain?
Yes, it is, more or less. I've added a couple of numbers, but apart from that, it's the same.
Yeah, because there was a story in the papers here this week that you weren't too happy with the way those shows were received.
Yes, I know. I saw that story. Wasn't it stupid?
Is that not true?
No, I may have said at some point that, I was disappointed at the way the tickets sold initially, but I wasn't disappointed with the way the shows were received. In the end, it was wonderful. Particularly the shows at Earl's Court were great.
Did the album sort of do as well as you were expecting, the Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking album?
No. I mean, it didn't sell as well as I expected it to, no.
Any theories on why that might be?
No, it's not really something I care to speculate about.
Is it that important, whether an album sells well or not for you?
Well, yes and no. It's not nearly as important as whether I like it or not. Whether I think it's a good piece of work.
You're going to be doing another album this year, aren't you?
Yeah.
Will that be a similar sort of record to the Hitchhiking album?
Well, I've been making some demos, and it's coming out musically. It's coming out sounding a lot harder.
More rocky, you mean?
Yes, I suppose it is.
Without wanting to sound cynical, this is actually quite prolific for you, isn't it? I mean, an album last year and a tour now and another album coming up.
Yeah.
What's brought about that sort of change?
I don't know. I'm really enjoying myself, I suppose, in a way that maybe I haven't in recent years, anyway.
You mean you weren't enjoying it on maybe the last few Floyd albums?
I wouldn't say the last few. No. The final cut was not a particularly happy experience for any of us, I don't think. Though I like the record, I may say. But yes, it's certainly, I'm certainly much happier now that I'm out from under the great umbrella.
Yeah. Do you think the other chaps feel the same way, perhaps?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them that.
Are you in contact with any of them at all?
It's not something I care to discuss, really.
Right. So really the Pink Floyd days are completely over for you now, are they?
I think so, yeah.
Is there any sort of chance of working with any one of the guys individually, perhaps, or anything like that?
I wouldn't have thought so, no. I think, we all have things that we want to do. Nizzy's just made a movie called Life Could Be a Dream, which I went and saw, which is very nice, which I think is coming out on the TV quite soon. And I think Dave's thinking of making another album, so everybody's busy.
So on the tour that you're doing in the States, how many old Floyd songs are you doing?
I do Welcome to the Machine, Set the Controls, Money, If, Wish You Were Here, Pigs on the Wing, Get Your Filthy Hands Off My Desert, Southampton Dock, Gunner's Dream, In the Flesh, Nobody Home, and Another Brick in the Wall, parts 1 and 2. It's two halves. There's the first half is the old songs, and the second half is the pros and cons. The first half I use the old circular screen format, and the second half of the show it then opens out visually, and we use a much bigger screen. We use this back projection screen, which is 100 feet by 30 feet.
Do you think perhaps in the future you might do a tour that just takes in smaller venues?
I might, who knows, yeah, I might.
Is there any possibility that you might do some more film work, perhaps?
Yes, that's a real possibility.
Because in the early days of Pink Floyd, you did do some film soundtracks, didn't you?
Yeah, we did, and it was great. That was really good fun. For Boris Schroeder, we did a couple of movies, and we did a film for Antonioni as well.
Yeah. Do you still listen to any of the old Floyd albums?
No, I don't, no.
Is that because you think you've sort of outgrown them, or...?
No, I mean, when I very occasionally do listen to them, I had to listen to a lot of them when I was putting this show together, because the only way that I could find out whether I really liked the songs and wanted to do them or not was to go back to the old albums. And my response to them was very mixed. Some of it I think has held up really well and has really stood the test of time, and some of it sounds dreadful.
Yeah, I mean, do you think perhaps that some of them sound a bit self-indulgent now, maybe?
Atom Heart Mother is a good case, I think, for being thrown into a dustbin and never listened to by anyone again.
Why that one in particular?
Oh, I don't know. It was pretty kind of pompous. It wasn't really about anything. I like the ones that are about something. On the other hand, Echoes, which is an early conceptual work, I still really liked.
Yeah. Do you listen to much other current stuff at the moment?
Very little, because I've been rehearsing the band, and my mind is rather full of that. When I come home, I listen to cassettes at the rehearsal. But having said that, I've been listening in the car on my way to and from Shepperton, and to, God, what's it called now? The new Van Morrison album, A Sense of Wonder.
Yep.
Which I think's wonderful.
High praise from Roger Waters, and our man trying to avoid the sensitive subjects was Paul Sexton.